is Caitlin, and welcome to episode 2 of the Cables and Cait podcast. And in this podcast, I talk with you all about my crafty makes, which mostly include knitting and crochet. I am trying to get into learning how to spin yarn, and I have a few like embroidery and cross stitch items that I kind of want to learn how to make. So I might include those crafts from time to time, but mainly this will be a knitting and crochet podcast. But one of the things I wanted to talk with you about is today I'm actually wearing a hand knit item, and this is the Eva cardigan by the Petite Knit, and this colorway is actually in the color The Rubies I Gave Up by Fangirl Fibers. So you can see it's a really lovely maroon color, and this is actually, this colorway, this sweater color is from Fangirl Fibers Taylor Swift Club yarn. In 2023 and 2024, she did a Taylor Swift monthly yarn club. And so this, I think, is one of the very first colorways. This is from January 2023. And like I said before, this is called The Rubies I Gave Up. And it's from the song Maroon. So it's very fitting, obviously. Lovely maroon colorway. And I picked this color because I don't know if anyone knows much about like your color season and like what colors look good on you. I think that this color is in my maroon is like one of my colors that look good on me that's in my color season. So this really spoke to me because I really love I love this song, I love the color, so I wanted to make a cardigan out of it. Originally, I was going to make the Agnet cardigan by the Petite Knit, but and that's a brioche cardigan, really beautiful. I plan on making it with another yarn set that I have, but with this yarn, I could not get the gauge for the sweater or the cardigan. So I pivoted and I decided to make this Eva cardigan, which I really love this cardigan. It's very, very comfortable. It's very, very nice. So, and then I do have a few finished objects today since the last time that I podcast. I have about 4 finished objects. 2 large objects. The other 2 are smaller projects. So let's actually get started on the first project that I finished, and that is my Salty Day sweater by Veronica Lindberg. And I made a size 2 on this sweater. This is a very oversized, comfy sweater. The yarn that I knit this with is Sandus Gardens Double Sunday and Sandus Gardens Silk Mohair held together. And they're both in the colorway Dark Chocolate, which I think like the color number is 3880. And this was a very potato chippy make because, you know, obviously too, like the way the sweater was written is that it was written in sections. So like you started with your back yoke and your front here, and then you kind of went into your different eyelets. There's lovely diamond pattern. There's even like cables in here, which were really fun. And then a little bit more diamond patterns. So this was a really fun to knit. It was really quick because it ended up being like a worsted weight with the yarns held together. which made it really quick for me because when I knit a sweater or a top, I'm usually knitting it in DK, sometimes fingering weight. So this was really fast. I will say that you did kind of have to concentrate on what pattern you were going into, so it wasn't as mindless as just a stockinette knit. And because of that, I wasn't really able to like watch TV while I did it, so I mostly had to like listen to a podcast or listen to music while I did it. But it was really fun. I'm glad I did this. I actually want to make another sweater, and I want to make it in like a white or a cream colorway. Not anytime soon, maybe like the end of the year if I am still wanting to go down that route. But it was really fun. I learned a lot of new techniques. I've never really done a lot of lace before, so that was fun to try and like follow these other patterns. So this is my salty day in the colorway dark chocolate. And then my next finished object are my Cider House socks by Summerly Knits. And this is in the colorway In My Chiefs Era by Sorella Yarns. And so I did a US size small. So I think it was like you cast on like 60 stitches. And I don't think this was in the pattern. I think I may have changed this a little bit, but I did like a 2x3 rib. And then I did my stitch count. I did what the pattern called for here, flap and gusset. And then I have a very small foot. So I wear a US women's size 6.5. So I did about 60 inches 60 rounds for my foot. And I end it with a contrasting toe. So this colorway was also kind of like Taylor Swift inspired. So it's called In My Chiefs Era, and Taylor Swift is dating Travis Kelce, who plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. And last year, Sorella Yarns did a In My Chiefs Era colorway, and she released it last year on the Super Bowl. So this football season, or I guess technically you would say next football season because football's over, I wanted to make I wanted to knit on these socks on Sundays while the Chiefs played, as I watched Taylor Swift at the games. And so, I mean, honestly, I didn't really work on these too much during the fall. I think I started them in September or October. And but I really didn't start like making sure I like worked on them like every single day until December, because I knew I was kind of didn't have a lot done, and I knew that if I didn't start really working on them, I wouldn't have them done by the Super Bowl, because I was pretty sure that the Chiefs were going to go to the Super Bowl, and they did. So I did get to wear these. I got these finished by the Super Bowl like a few days before. And so I did wear them while I watched the Super Bowl from my home. They lost, but that's okay. It was a win for me because I got to wear my In My Chiefs Era socks at the Super Bowl, during the Super Bowl. So that was very fun, very fun. And though I will say, like, the one thing I really liked about these socks is when you do a cable, I know your gauge is a little bit tighter. So even though I cast on more stitches than what I usually do, my foot was a little bit tighter, which I actually liked because to me it felt a little bit more like store-bought socks. Whenever I make handmade socks, usually I think they're just like maybe a stitch or two off when I like a stitch or two like too big. They're just a little bit too roomy. So I think the next time I make socks, I might try and like mess with the numbers and see if maybe I want to do less stitches for my foot, like maybe like decrease. Like I'd probably have to do 4 stitches, maybe by the time I get to the foot. I'll have to like figure out the numbers for that, because I'm thinking about when you end up doing the Kitchener, they need to be even. Actually, I might be able to just do 2, like maybe just decrease like 2 stitches. So that's something I'll play with. Maybe like later this, I don't plan on casting on any socks anytime soon, but maybe I'll like think about it like in the summertime. So these are my in my Chiefs era socks by Summerly Knits. The pattern is the Cider House socks. And then I have 2 more finished objects. They're actually the same pattern. I did 2 scrappy granny squares, and the pattern is by Nitty Natty. And I did about 8 rounds for these, and this is all in fingering weight. And the yarn that I used was my Rising Tide Advent from 2024, and the theme of that Advent was Taylor Swift's album, The Tortured Poets Department. So the last time I podcast, I had about 2 colors that I had not gotten to yet. And so I finished these up within the last month or so. So day 23 was Peter, and I think this is Peter. Wait, let me double check. Yes, this is day 23. And this is supposed to be inspired by the song Peter. So it's like a greeny color. And then the other song for day 24, because that was day 23. Day 24's is the song I Hate It Here from the album. I really liked this colorway. It was like a green with like pinks and stuff, or magenta. That was very pretty. So I finished the mini skeins for that Advent, and I have another Rising Tide Advent from 2023, and that is also a Taylor Swift themed Advent. It's like not just one album, it's like all of her albums. So I will probably later in the year, I probably plan on making granny squares out of that Advent. Just maybe making 1 a day or maybe 1 a week or something like that. And then I want to end up making like a granny square blanket and joining all the squares together with like a neutral yarn. If I just do those 2 Advents, I will only have like 48 for the mini skeins. I'll probably break into like the day 25 for both of those came with a I don't know if it's a sock set or like a full skein. So I'll probably have to I'll also make like a mini skein, make a granny square out of those too, but I'll only have 50 squares. So I think that that's gonna be too small because I want it to be like an Afghan, like a throw. I don't want it to be like a baby blanket. So I do have other Taylor Swift inspired yarn, many different Taylor Swift inspired yarns. So I'll probably pull from those different colorways, and I will probably make granny squares out of those too, like if I have any leftovers. So in the future, I am going to be making more granny squares, and I will be like joining them all together with like a neutral colored yarn. So look for that in the future. And that is actually all I have for my finished objects. I got 4 done within the past month, which is actually pretty good, considering I have had so many different projects to work on. But let's actually talk about my Traveler's Hoodie by Andrea Marby. And so I have gotten a lot of work done on this since the last time that I've podcast. When I podcast, I was only like to this marker here. And so since then I got the whole body done. And then I was able to do the front and back yokes. And then I have almost 1 sleeve done. So I can show it to you. So I have 1 sleeve done. I have about like 1 inch of the cuff done. So I'm really close to getting that done. And so by the time I'm done, I want to get this done by February. So, which I think it's possible. If not, it'll maybe might go into like the first week of March. Because I only have I have 1 more sleeve left to do, and this sleeve only took me 4 days. I mean, it was a lot of knitting, but it didn't take me that long. I mean, you know, it didn't take that many days. So I think if I kind of power through it, I should be able to get another sleeve done by the middle of this week, because it is February 17th today. So there's like 10, 11 more days left of February. And then the only thing that I'm worried about is the hood. And I'm coming into a crossroads here where I need to think about what I want to do. Because for this pattern, you can either do a crew neck version or the hoodie version of this. And when I originally was going to make this, I was all gonna do the hoodie. I was thinking about it. I don't have a lot of hoodies in my closet. So then I was kind of wondering, well, maybe I should do the crew neck. So I'm debating in my head what I want to do. So if any of you guys have opinions, if you wanted to comment down below and let me know if I should do the hoodie or the crew neck version of this sweater, that would be greatly appreciated. But I really liked this. This is a really easy, fun pattern to make. And I think it's gonna be cropped. And this is really easy pattern to do because it was a 5 row repeat pattern. So you did you did your knit 3, your purl 2, knit 3, purl 2. So it was really easy it was really easy. I mean, I will say actually, when I started this, I didn't realize it was a 5 repeat pattern, so I did have to redo it. But that was my fault, not the pattern's fault. I thought it was like knit 2, purl 2. And so I did have to like rip apart like in December and like redo it. So that I could have gotten this done a lot sooner if I would have followed the pattern more closely. But yeah, so I don't know if I talked with you about this. The colorway that I'm using is a really lovely navy, and it's in the colorway I've got Dreams to Remember by Farmer's Daughters Fiber. And this is a non-superwash wool, and I've never really knit with non-superwash wool. I've always been afraid that wool to me is like itchy if it's not superwash, but this is like really soft. So I think this is gonna be like really comfortable. If I end up liking this, I might have to start looking into like trying to see if there's like other types of like non-superwash wool out there. I actually think the double Sunday that I used for my salty day was a non-superwash. So I guess I'm trying to venture out into different types of wool. So very fun. But so this is my work in progress on my traveler hoodie. And then my next work in progress, which is actually kind of like, I think they're like two, basically the same, because I'm trying to make them for like a matching set. But I'll start with my the red scarf. And so this is the red scarf by Sorella. And since the last time we podcast, I did not have very much done on this. The last time we podcast, I had only done, let's see if I can get this, I got a good light. I'd only done basically to that marker. And oh, I should show you my marker. It's like really pretty. It's a Taylor Swift themed marker. And it says, long story short, from one of her Evermore albums. And this marker is actually from Fangirl Fibers too. So back to this scarf though. This scarf is actually, it's called the Red Scarf by Sorella, and it was made for this yarn. This yarn is called Red by Sorella, and this is from Sorella's Taylor Swift themed yarn collection. She's done a couple of collections. I think this is like from like the very first one that she did a few years ago. And so this is supposed to be inspired by the album Red. And this is in her worsted weight base. And so I want to try and see if I can get this done by the end of February. I only have I've only done about 25 inches. The pattern calls for like a little over 60 inches, but I'm very petite, so well, you're supposed to like knit to like 60 some inches, and then after that you have the fringe you're supposed to add on, and I really do want the fringe, but I'm wondering if I should maybe shorten the scarf a little bit, because I'm very petite. I'm only 5'1", 5'2". So I might not have as much knitting left as I think I do. I mean, I'm still like more than half. I still have like more than half of the scarf left to do, but because it's worsted weight, it like knits up really fast, and I'm doing it on a US 10.5. So I think it's doable to get this done by the end of February. I'll just have to kind of wait and see and play it by ear. And then with that, I wanted to do a matching set. So I also have in the red colorway by Sorella a Musselboro hat by Azolka T. And I am doing a adult size small, and when I tested my gauge, I had about 7.5 stitches per inch. So if anyone doesn't know about the muscle burrow hat, this is where you can kind of like create your own hat, and it has lots of different gauges. And you can do like fingering weight or even like DK weight or sport weight with this type of hat. This is, I'm using the fingering weight by Sorella in the colorway red. And I've made a few of these before. I've made a couple of children's size muscle burrow hats. And then I made one for myself with kind of like a fold up brim, but it like wasn't very slouchy. So it was just full stockinette all the way down. With this one, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I decided to add in a little bit of ribbing for the brim. So I kind of want to make it like two different hats. So it'll have like your stockinette, you know, head or, you know, main part of your hat. And then it'll have one side, because it's like a reversible hat. So then one side will be my ribbing. And then I will do like my other side is going to be like just a stockinette brim. So I can like reverse it and have two different hats. So I also want to get this done by the end of February. I don't think that's going to happen. I still have, I want to do like 19 inches between each crown. And so far I've done 6.5, right up here has been 6.5. This is 6. And then this is like 2 inches. So I have like 7.5 inches left of just straight knitting, and then I have to work on my decreases to form this other part at the end. So that is a lot of knitting. We'll see if I can get it done by the end of February. I have, like I said before, 11 days. I've been working on this a little bit more besides my knitting and reading time, because this is originally what I planned this project for. But yeah, it's a nice, just, I can sit there, watch TV, read, and knit. So hopefully by the end of it, maybe the next podcast, you will have a finished matching set with my red Taylor Swift themed makes. Okay. And then, so another project, I haven't worked too much on it since I last podcast, because I was very focused on getting like my travelers and then my red scarf and hat finished. But I did work like a few rounds on my half and half shawl. And this is by Pearl Soho. And this is a matching, this was like a set or like a kit that I bought from Pearl Soho a few years ago. And so with the half and half shawl, you will basically use 2 color yarns. And then you knit like a triangle, so like 2 triangles become a square. So I decided to get like the neutral one out of the way so that I could save the, colorful one for the end. So this is like an oatmeal-y kind of neutral colorway. I don't know the names of them. I lost the labels because I did cast this on like a very long time ago. And then it also comes with, I also have like this coral color, which will be the other half of the shawl. That I'm kind of just working on. I want to get some of my other projects done before I really start working on that some more. So not much to say about that, but maybe you'll see it'll have more progress in the future. And my next project is my Battenberg blanket. This Battenberg blanket is designed by Sandra Paul. And this is a blanket that I like to call my Taylor Swift Eras blanket. So with this blanket, Taylor Swift had this big tour the last few years called the Eras Tour. So I had already done a blanket for her like US dates in the summers of 2023. And I had made like a different pattern out of that. And so I wanted to do something for like the international dates and then like the second part of like her US tour dates for 2024. So I decided to make this Battenberg blanket. And so basically with this blanket is Taylor Swift performs secret songs at each concert date that she has. She performs 2 songs, one on the piano, one on the guitar. And they're surprised. We don't know what she's gonna pick. And so with Taylor Swift, each album for her and her fans represent a color. And so I took whatever song was from that album that represented a color, I took like a colorway and I knit a square with it. I knit these like Battenberg blanket squares. If you can actually, how about I do like a neutral color. So I knit these like little Battenberg blanket squares. I did, the pattern calls for 3 rounds, but I did 4. And so with so basically, when she picks a song, it's going to correspond to an album. So an album color. So say if she performs, I'm like, love Taylor Swift, I'm blanking like all her songs. So if she performs the song Cowboy Like Me from Evermore, that is like considered like a brownie color. So I picked like a colorway that I thought represented that album color, which is right here. It's like this brownie color with like flecks of like orange in it to represent that album. Or like say if she did Hey Steven from Fearless, that is corresponded with a yellow. So I picked a yellow colorway for that. And so all of my colorful squares that I have done are from the dyer Frankie Gray Fibers. She has a Taylor Swift collection where she took album covers and she created yarn colorways with them out of her inspiration or their inspiration. I stuck with most of those colorways that she had for the Taylor Swift themed colors. I did take a few like solids that I felt more inspired by for other albums. So I'll just go through them really quickly. So this color is for, it's like a greeny color for her first album debut, which is just called Taylor Swift. And this is her, right here, this yellow is for Fearless. This purple is for Speak Now. And so for the red colorway, I decided not to use the red, the red colorway that was inspired for that. I chose a different color. I chose this solid color right here called Off the Vine, but it's also by Frankie Gray. And then for $19.89, her colorway was this like light blue with a little bit of red. And this is actually inspired by her Taylor version colorway. So you got the light blue, white for like the seagulls, and then like her lips are red. So the other colorway that we have here is Reputation, which is black, and this is the colorway Onyx. For Lover, I chose to do her Lover inspired colorway. Has all the pastels like the album cover. And then this is the Folklore colorway. And let's see if I can, if there's like a Tortured Poets one. I don't know if I've done any. Oh, here we go. I'll have to include another one for maybe like the other colorway for Tortured Poets was just like very similar to Folklore. It was just more of a white with like lighter grays in it. And then this is the one for Midnights. I chose to do the Midnight colorway. It's actually, this is like a navy. It's called Midnights. So with this, I didn't work on this. Oh, and then for my neutral squares, I chose these white squares to like combine them all together. Right here, this is like a very nice like off-white. Actually like get a good, it's like off-white and it's called Ceramic. And so I'm doing all of my joining squares with this blanket. And then I'll probably do the border with it too. But I only did a few squares for this. I added in this section. So she did a mashup here. That's why I'm doing 4 rounds instead of the 3 that the pattern calls for. So I could do like 2 rounds of one color for half of the song, and then 2 rounds of the other for half of the song. Okay. I added these colorway in, so I added these 4 in. And then I added in these right here. And I should actually talk with you about this one really quick. So this colorway is called the Eras. And it's also by Frankie Gray. When I was creating this blanket, I knew that I wanted everything to be even, obviously, to like make the blanket a square. So I needed like a few squares in between the cities to make everything match up. So in between the cities, where she stopped, so like she went to like Melbourne like couple days, and then she went to Sydney for a couple days. So in between that stop from like where the concert ended, I like chose to do this Eras tour, this Eras colorway to kind of break it up. So it's my Battenberg blanket, my Taylor Swift inspired blanket. I would love to get this done by April, or if possible March, but we will see how much I actually end up working on it in the next few weeks. So I do have a few new cast-ons, so let me get those out here. So I have in my crafting era bag, I have my Monday sweater that I cast on, And this is the Monday sweater by Petite Knit. And I don't have very much done. I just cast on it, doing like a, what is it called? Like a tubular cast on. And so I just got I'm on like the second pass or the first pass. And this is going to end up going to be in the colorway black tie. And this is from Zorella's Downtown Abbey collection. So I've made a Monday sweater in the past. I really liked it, but it accidentally got in the dryer, the washer, and so it fell apart. So I wanted to make another black one to replace it. So that's that. There hasn't been much progress made on it. And then another project that I barely started is I started making the 4 points blanket. It's actually the 4 points baby blanket, but I'm making the throw version of it. And this pattern is also by Pearl Soho. And so like 2 years ago, I was making the Stephen West shawl from the Make Along, and I wasn't loving the shawl. I don't know if it was the pattern or if I just didn't like the colors I was using with the pattern. But I decided to take like the colors that I was using for the pattern and like reuse it in this 4 points blanket. So I have this like maroony color. Oh, actually, I still have a couple in here. So, and then I have this like pinky mauvey color, a light pink, and then like kind of like a little neutral color. And so I wanted to like do something with these, that yarn, so it wouldn't like totally go to waste, because I think I had to get a couple years ago, I did when I was gonna make this shawl, like I think I bought 2 skeins of yarn for that shawl. So I didn't want all of that yarn to go to waste, because it's very nice color yarn. So that is everything that I have for today. I just want to thank you so much for watching my podcast. And if you liked this podcast and you made it this far, I hope you would like and subscribe down below. Thank you so much, and have a great day.